Welcome to the Mutual Aid Report. The Mutual Aid Report delves into the concept of mutual aid and unpacks its historical significance and its role in local communities by spotlighting individuals who are making a real difference at the grassroots level in the city of Chicago. Let's elevate the profile of mutual aid, shed light on these community-based initiatives, and motivate others to either join or back existing ventures. Let's get right into it. Good afternoon. Hope everyone is doing well today. Welcome to the Mutual Aid Report on WLPN LP Lumpen Radio 105.5 FM Chicago. My name is Ariandi Luna, and I'm here today with Florecer Chicago. I'm joined by Kelly College Prep students. Florecer is a violence prevention org from the Chicago Southwest Side, advocating for youth to become stewards of their communities through direct action, art, and community building. Throughout the time they've been around, they have led a numerous amount of mutual aid efforts, including, but not limited to, clothing drives, walkouts, all sorts of stuff. Sorry. So today I'm in the studio with Diego Garcia, and I am joined right now currently with Sara Hernandez and Daniela Sanchez, and later I will be joined by Yulisa Perez and Elena Tellez. To advocate for their school's toy drive and hear their insight on what mutual aid means to them. So to start off, can you all introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Daniela Sanchez. First time being here and kind of nervous, but so excited.
My name is Sara Hernandez, or Sarai. Again, I'm really excited. This is an amazing opportunity, and we're just so honored all around.
And my name is Diego. I am a part of Florecer, but also I am so honored to be in space with these amazing young people, and thank you all for giving us a platform to speak on.
Sweet. So can you guys go around and tell me how you all got started?
Yeah. So I started organizing at the age of 16, so I was around their age when I started organizing. But flash forward to 2020 is when Florecer, which was then Shy Student Pandemic Response, was founded. I spoke to so many other students in the neighborhood, and they were like, yo, like, it's hard out here being a student during the pandemic. We were trying to survive, but also, work jobs and provide for our families and work on homework and essays. A lot of students didn't have internet, Wi-Fi, laptops, a quiet space to work on homework. So we decided to talk to hundreds of students. We put out a call to action, and we were like, hey, y'all, what is it that you need during this time? Students were like, we need Wi-Fi, we need laptops. So what did we do? We created a petition for the Chicago Public Schools. We put it out, and we were like, hey, y'all, like, this is what CPS students need. And we released this petition over the weekend. We received over 8,000 signatures, and the Chicago Public Schools reached out, and they were like, hey, y'all, like, we see that you're, like, demanding some things of us. Let's hop on a call. So we met with them. Eventually, CPS students ended up getting their Chromebooks, their Wi-Fi routers if they needed them. So shout out students in 2020 that were able to make this happen, because I believe now CPS students get Chromebooks and that type of support. After 2020, it was rapid response work. And we realized that we really needed to ground ourselves in our mental health and wellness after, facing off so many departments at protests. So we decided to delve ourselves into mental health and wellness work, as well as just community building, because at the end of the day, we understood that it took our communities to get to know each other and to support each other during times in need to be good, So, yeah, now I'm excited to be connecting with young people and creating beautiful spaces.
Yeah, I first got introduced to helping out in the community by my peers. They took me to the space. They helped me get comfortable in the space where we were helping out in the community and learn about the history of our neighborhood that we've lived in our whole lives. Mm-hmm. With those experiences, I then became more comfortable with being more open to new people and those I've lived so close with. Mm-hmm. And then now with that comfort and that
support.
Yeah, and that support, mm-hmm. I've brought in new people, and I've showed my peers, and I've spoken out and introduced them to everything that the community is doing and that organizations are doing for the community.
That's really cool. Like the history of your community. Like, can you
Yes.
talk about that program a little bit?
I was doing it was a
youth council.
Yes, I was doing a youth council, and they brought in like the elders of the community, and they explained to us, and they kind of just they showed us everything that was going on, and they showed us images of like how our community was before and how events that we thought were so like long ago are actually still happening, and how things are still going on that like we might have been like ignorant to before.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just kind of like, ever since I was little, I've always wanted to do something to help out my community, but I never knew where to start because of my age and because of like, I used to be really, really busy, but now as getting into school and getting into high school, it gave me more opportunities to help out my community, like BPNC and also Florecer. It gave me a chance to like know more about my community and know what I can do to help out. So yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity, and it's really good to like find out what you want to do.
What was one of the first like programs or events that you were a part of?
So I started with just like helping out in school, and with that, like I'm still in National Honor Society, and we had to help out BPNC with the Dia de los Muertos event, and it was really good. I really got to see how a community can really come together in a wonderful event, and helping out like made me realize a lot of things where there's gonna be moments where a community will come together, and even if they're not like of the same, color or of the same ethnicity, it's a wonderful sight to see. It's very beautiful.
For sure. So now that we talked a little bit about the background of how you guys started, can you guys talk about some of your recent mutual aid efforts or recent work?
Yeah, so in the past year, we've heard of encampments, we've heard of a lot of rapid response work being done even within our city. But Florecer has really tried to move into a place where we're able to do like sustainable programming for families. So it's not just a one-time thing where young people get to come together and then, organize one day and then they leave and they remain unconnected. So for example, at the beginning of this year, we launched a program called, this was actually last year, Rincón de Aprendizaje. And it was a tutoring program where we would meet on a weekly basis with migrant youth, and we would provide them one-on-one homework support. And then with that also came like getting them to understand the history of the neighborhood, and then just like, the hot spots where young people would meet, so we had met in Pilsen. Young people got to go to Harrison Park. They went to the National Museum of Mexican Art, the Museum of Science and Industry, the Rudy Lozano Library. So that was the tutoring program. Later on in the year, we decided to come up with our nature program, where we have 8 young people from the Southwest Side. They've been meeting in Brighton Park and McKinley Park, and they've been learning about how to become stewards of the land, whether that's through art or through playing. They've learned how to take care of each other, but also nature. So that's some of the recent programming we've done.
The recent thing that I can remember is, I really like doing events where I can actually like be in person and be present with all the people from the community and see a bunch of all the families. So the last one that I participated in was the Halloween one, where we had a bunch of kids, we had a bunch of activities for them so they can be creative and just enjoy like the moment. I really like that. I really enjoyed it.
My first event in helping out my community was the Dia de los Muertos, with helping out with collabing with like National Honor Society and BPNC. It was a wonderful event, and also that like made me realize that I wanted to do more and I wanted to help out with like community events. And I also, with the Florecer, I wanted to do this so I could get more experience and how I can help out my community with their needs, and how I can be a good cause of that.
Did they have good food at that event?
Yes, they had pozole, and I think they had tamales también. Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Yummy. Cool. So I did want to talk about your program that you talked about called El Rincón de Aprendizaje. So it was a 10-week-long program designed to reimagine how the needs of newcomers in Chicago public schools could be addressed. And during this initiative, students could get help with their homework and provided a space for families to come and get involved with their child's academic life every weekend. So how was it working with the youth in this program, and what difficulties did you encounter?
It was interesting, but I think it was definitely worth it. We know that Chicago is a city of immigrants, built by immigrants for immigrants. But overall, our city is so diverse. So you would expect for there to be systems already set in place for people like newcomers. Last year, when we started receiving an influx of migrants, it was pretty telling that a lot of systems weren't prepared, or at least created for migrant youth, because we noticed how when these migrant youth were beginning to get enrolled in our Chicago public schools, they didn't feel that supported, whether that was through their emotional needs or what do you call it, with like language, with language needs. So a lot of parents who we remained in contact after working with them at local shelters reached out to us, and they were like, hey, like, we know y'all were doing bi-weekly art programming at our shelter, and we really love the way you engaged with our youth. So is there any way that y'all can help us out with their homework? And we're like, yeah, that's actually like a really good idea. And we understand that investing in education and investing in young people is one of the biggest forms of violence prevention in our city. So we decided to get together with these parents. We heard their needs, and we created El Rincón de Aprendizaje. So we met at spaces like 18th Casa de Cultura, and these young people were able to really like understand. It was like a beautiful cultural exchange, because a lot of us didn't really know much about like Colombian or Venezuelan culture, and they also didn't know much about Mexican culture. But through this program, we were able to really like exchange the cultural knowledge, and then after developing that trust, we were able to help them out with their homework, which I feel like having a trauma-informed approach to this work was really helpful, because we can't really expect students to learn how to do math if they're hungry or if they don't feel like they belong in their community. So that's really where we wanted to that's where we wanted to tackle first.
Sweet. Can you share one of your favorite memories from the program?
Yeah. I remember I had asked the young people if they wanted to choose like the music they wanted to play as they were working on homework, and our team was expecting for them to like show us some new artists, and they go Peso Pluma, and we were like, that's like a lot of our favorite music too. So it was just beautiful to see that we also have a lot of similarities with newcomers coming in, because we feel like the media doesn't really portray like the beautiful parts of receiving migrants into our city.
Okay, for sure. How about you guys? Like in the past programs or recent events you were at, like what's a favorite memory that you had from participating in them?
Personally, I would say that one of my favorite memories is seeing the look on everybody's faces, like when they realize like that they are like that there is support in the community for them, and that there are people like helping out and that want to help out. Especially the little kids. I love the little kids. I'm a sucker for little kids. Just seeing the joy on their faces and being able to interact with them and like communicate with them. Like for example, we did an event where while we were doing the Halloween event, we also were giving out free books to little kids, and it was so amazing seeing the look on their faces while while they were receiving all that love and all that care, where they they got to color, they got to paint, they got the free books.
Also, like working with school events and the Dia de los Muertos event, it really like my favorite memory of that was just seeing all the people that come together and how like they can help. It really made me change my mindset on how I see things, and just looking at that made me realize that like a community coming together can be so beautiful and just amazing, which is like gonna be a core memory engraved in my head. For sure.
Awesome. So I did want to ask too, is El Rincón de Aprendizaje, is it an ongoing program? And if it isn't, is there another program that you would like to start similarly?
So Rincón de Aprendizaje was kind of like our, it was like a program that we had done just once, right? Because we wanted to see how it would work. It was like a pilot program. And while it was successful and we would bring it back, at the moment where Florecer is really working on like creating capacity, internal capacity, and then understanding that we work like nature a lot of the time. So during the winter season, our bodies a lot of the time tell us to like slow down and take care of ourselves. So we're also learning how to slow down and to work with the change in seasons.
Okay, for sure. How about you guys? What programs do you guys want to see at your school?
Some programs that I want to see are more of like creating and like social programs, kind of like I've never seen a cooking class in my school, Kelly, and I feel like if we saw more, more people that have to like just chime in and spend their time like after school with extracurricular activities that they know that they're excited to like do. It'll really get like a community together, and it'll really get, a lot of joy to see in people's faces. Yeah.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Is there anything that like you feel like Kelly lacks, or it's something that you struggle with personally?
Something I would say they lack on is communicating with like, I don't know the wording. I would say it would be like just kind of getting the word out about certain programs, because I know this year I was really excited to join the swim team, but I didn't know for sure if Kelly had a swim team because like I didn't get any emails, and like I would check my email constantly, I didn't get anything. So then I think it would just be like a lot better, because they do offer lots of programs. I think, like personally, I think they offer a good variety of programs for students to choose from. It's just something that would need to be worked on is actually communicating with students and letting them know, like, hey, we offer these programs, like, you should come join. Because I know lots of students there would be excited and would look forward to doing something like that.
Also adding on to what Sara said, that there's like a lot of, to me, I feel like there's a lot of lack of attention to younger kids, and there's like a lack of staff too, where I see in like some areas after school, I see a lot of stuff where some staff, like since there's barely any staff, most of like the classes don't get cleaned or something, something along the lines like that. And also there's times when like teachers and staff just don't listen to kids, and it could be really frustrating and create conflict to younger kids, because then it'll make them feel like, oh, we're not welcomed and we're not listened, so we should just not say anything at that point. And I think that's a really big, for me, that's a really big struggle, since there's, that used to be a really big issue to me in my middle school. So I just really want to see that for high school. I want to see, a community come together and things change.
Overall, better communication.
For sure. If you guys did have a program like Florecer, what would you guys name it?
Ooh, that's interesting. That's
probably like the Helpers of Kelly or the Knights of Kelly. Low-key.
That'd be cool. Very cool. Very cool.
All right.
I will ask you this question later, but I wanted to ask you guys before you guys leave.
All right.
Do you guys have any big things planned for the next year? Like anything that you want to be a part of, or anything you want to start?
For the next year, I would say no. Like me personally, I don't know about Danny. For the next year, not at the moment. But this year we are planning something big, which our other classmates will get into.
I don't know. I'm a big forgetter, but I do want to start like a few, events in my community, and also like just with friends, so we can get people together. But yeah, I mean, just live in the moment right now.
Adding on to what Danny said, I would think like, obviously we don't know at the moment, but like in the future, if to figure out about the events and stuff, a really good way to stay updated would be through Florecer's Instagram. So just
Florecer_shy.
we'll promo.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I guess what I could talk about too is like community events and just programs in general are going to be really important in the upcoming 4 years with the new presidential election. How are you guys feeling about that?
It's something that we should really look into a positive light sometimes, because I've seen and I've heard a lot of fear and a lot of conflict with the upcoming presidency. But as long as we look at the bright side and we come together, there's gonna be it's gonna come out all right. And I wish for the best.
Yeah, kind of adding on to what Danny said, I think a big thing is like, there's a lot of fear going around. A big thing would be like looking at each other for support and looking at what's going on in our neighborhoods and stuff like that, and just kind of supporting one another and seeing that there are lots of people going through the same things, and like even if you don't think that there are, just trying to find ways to support one another and to listen and have our concerns be heard.
For sure. Sounds good. So like to advocate for something like that, like what would be like your dream event to host? Like what would you have and who would you want to be there? Yeah.
That's a good question. I feel like probably I don't know if I could do a protest, because to be honest, I'm a really shy person, LOL. But probably like hosting an event where we can fundraise for something to be changed, or we could do like a protest on something. But those honestly, like for me, those are the type of organizations that I would like. But yeah, so
Okay. What would you want to protest? Like
right now I've seen like a lot of that they might, for the upcoming presidency, they might take away the Board of Education. And I've recently heard from like my teachers that they also protested for not like taking away the Board of Education and like keeping it. And that's something that I would really like want to advocate, because I think education is something that students and people need, and it's something that could give them more knowledge and help them out in the long run for anything.
Of course. How about you?
Adding to what Danny was saying about the students and everything, I think it's really important that they also, like students also kind of get that, not confidence, but confidence in a way, to use their voice and not be scared to like make their voice be heard, because I know that's something that I was very like scared of and very nervous about, because I guess I as a person, I'm scared to make other people like uncomfortable or to make them like think of me in a certain way. So it's just I would just remind people that or younger people to not be scared to use their voice, because your voice is a very powerful thing. Your voice,
And also, if like if people see an issue, or like they notice that something's wrong, but no one has really talked about it, I think people really should just like come together and advocate it. You could probably be like the first person, and you could be the first one to make a change, and I think that's just a beautiful thing to do for an issue or a problem that you have. So
you can be a motivational speaker.
Oh, that's not.
I guess what activated you guys? Like, what made you finally come out of your shell and be like, okay, I want to do something?
Probably like activities and clubs in my school. Freshman year, I was such a shy little kid, LOL. But like being in student council sophomore year, and just like being in National Honor Society, it really helped me see and do things where I wouldn't do in middle school or like just in any place, and it really made me realize that like I'm gonna have to use my voice one day, and you know, right now could be really good practice, even if it's just like helping out kids, helping out like events, because you kind of like, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna be helping out 8th graders around Kelly to like, you know, show them around the school. And, you know, I'm super nervous because I'm scared of kids, lol, even if we're, like, around the same age. But, you know, I know that I'm going to have to use my voice like that one day. So I'm just kind of, like, practicing right now. And, yeah.
Okay. For me, I would say that something that helped me get out of my shell and finally, like, be comfortable using my voice would be being around other like-minded people and people who motivate you to actually like to use your voice. Like with Diego, when I first met him, I was very shy. I did not like speaking my mind. I did not like saying, you know, like standing up for myself. But working in the community and working with other people and seeing how there are people who think like you just have to, you know, speak out and say it and like say what you're thinking. Like seeing that and having that support, it really made me comfortable, and it really helped me come out of my shell personally.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for your thoughtful insight.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you guys would want to say to the youth who are listening?
I think, again, like, if you see an issue that you are kind of very big about and you want to spread more information and advocate, just do it. Like, you know, it's very scary, and there's going to be times where it's just like, is it really worth it? Like, I'm the only one talking about it. But as long as you advocate for yourself and for others, it could bring communities together. Is to create, you know, changes in, like, the issues that you are kind of, like, not, like, oh, I forgot what I was going to say.
Issues that you're experiencing.
Yeah, kind of. So, yeah.
Something I would say to younger people is, like I had mentioned before, don't be afraid to use your voice. Like, truly, the voice is such a powerful thing, like Danny was saying. Just advocate for yourself, and if you're scared, try to find organizations like Florecer that really help you out and that have a goal. And yeah, just, you know, there's power in numbers. Find people who think like you, find people who want what you want, and just make that change happen.
Mm-hmm. Thank you guys so much.
Yes.
So that wraps up our first half hour. Thank you so much to Sara and Danny for being with us.
Yes.
We're going to take a little break now, and we'll be back after these short messages.
Thank you.
Welcome back. As a reminder, you are listening to the Mutual Aid Report on WLPN LP, Lumpen Radio 105.5 FM, Chicago. Today we have a guest speaker for Florecer Chicago and some local students from Kelly College Prep. Welcome back. And in our first hour, we spoke on the history of Florecer and what were some of the first mutual aid efforts that you all started with. We started talking to some of the students and what is important to them and what they want to see in their community. And now we have two more students from Kelly, and we have Elena and Yuli. Welcome. How are you guys feeling?
I'm very excited for having this opportunity and coming to talk on here, because not a lot of people have this opportunity, and I'm excited and nervous.
I'm very excited for having a new experience and being able to say that I've been on the radio. It's very exciting, and excited to see the outcome of this.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys. So we are going to talk about a toy drive that I heard you guys are going to start. So Florecer continuously provides for youth on the southwest sides, and even now during this interview, you decided to invite two teens from a local high school to advocate for their toy drive. So can you tell us the details of the toy drive?
Well, yeah, we are going to do it the December 21st for Second Nutrition. Mm-hmm. And we're gonna give out toys for kids who are under 12, because we want to help out like the families who can't give out toys for like their kids or stuff, and we want them to like brighten up their holidays. And yeah, do you have one?
And other details are preferably like new toys, just a precaution. And we welcome all toys except stuffed animals, just for sanitary purposes, just to keep everyone safe, of course. And any other details would be on Florecer's page on Instagram.
Okay, awesome. So you kind of touched a little bit about it, but why did you guys decide to do a toy drive?
Well, going on a more personal level with this question, like I agreed to do this with my group because I always grew up having the opportunity of having gifts under my tree, and having that opportunity and just seeing and hearing other kids not being able to have that, it makes me want to give back to them so they experience the same emotions as I did in my childhood.
Adding on to what Jalissa said, when I was younger, like in second grade, somebody did that for us. Like the alderman, they went to our school and they gave out toys for us. And I wanted to be like a person like that and give out toys for kids and help them. Because like I've also witnessed like my cousins or like somebody else like that. Sometimes like they're not able to provide toys for the kids, and that kind of like ruins their like vision on how they see the holidays and how they may connect that to like a sad part, and we want to brighten up the holidays.
And adding on to what Lenny said, like once children grow up to see and live those experiences, they will pass those experiences on to their children, and it just makes the holidays more special for everybody.
For sure.
And something that really stuck with me was how we were talking about how these are like little seeds that they're planting in kids' brains, because eventually they want them to grow into a new generation where they get to also feel like, oh, I remember some students from Kelly were able to help us out during the holidays, so I want to do the same for younger kids.
For sure, yeah, exactly, yeah. Like you said, like you somebody did this for you, and now you're doing it. So that's so awesome. Yeah. So I guess to ask you guys, like, how did you guys get started getting involved in your community?
Well, for me, I started when I was in sophomore year last year because I joined NHS. At first, I didn't know what it was, and like Daniela stated before, I was nervous because I was a really shy person, and I saw the opportunity to help out my community, or like the like how Daniela stated, I helped in the what's it called? Dia de Muertos thing, and yeah, after that, I noticed that I like to help my community, and I wanted to get more involved in it. And
Adding on to what Lenny said, I barely started this year because I joined Skills USA, and just seeing how like people come together to do things together as a family, it's just beautiful to see how like it's so empowering. So that made me like feel more comfortable with speaking up about my ideas to others.
Why do you guys think it's important to give back to your community?
Well, I grew up, I guess what my mom always planted in my head was like, what you give back, you always receive back. So to always be nice to others and treat others how you want to be treated.
yeah, adding on to what Jalissa said, I feel like us at community, when we work together, we're stronger, and we're able to make more changes. And like Jalissa said it too, my mom has always like taught me to like help others and give out, and don't expect nothing in return, but like help out too, because you want to help out and to make a change without getting anything back. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to now ask you, Diego. So Florecer is known to do multiple parties throughout the summer, providing resources to their communities and providing a safe space for local families to enjoy the warm weather. So how and when did these start?
So after 2020, our team had really begun to recognize like a pattern of like exhaustion, but also like PTSD, right? That's so real coming from rapid response work. And while it is necessary, it's also equally as necessary, or even more necessary, to take care of our mental health. So we met and we took the time to reflect, and we were like, okay, so what is it that our communities truly need to thrive? And while we like walked around their neighborhoods and just lived our life in our neighborhood outside of organizing, we noticed that there was a lot of vacant lots, a lot of vacant playgrounds, spaces in our community that should be activated but haven't been for whatever reason, right? So we decided we would get together and collect art materials, clothing, books, and we would pop up in different communities, like Back of the Yards, Little Village, Englewood, and yeah, we would activate spaces. And what really stuck with us was the fact that neighbors would come out and they would be like, are y'all with the city? Who are you with? Like, no one has ever decided to activate this space in our neighborhood. And we're like, no, like, our friend here lives down the block, and he said the exact same thing. So we want to show you all that it's possible to invest in your neighborhood and make it a beautiful space. You don't have to leave your neighborhood to be able to have fun. So yeah, after that, we just decided to move towards mental health and wellness as well as community activation events.
Okay. Do you remember how your first one went, and how did they compare to your most recent ones?
Yeah, one of our first events was actually in Little Village, and it was interesting because our community activation was youth led, and then especially for youth in the community. So we had activated a space in a local park that people don't really tend to spend much time in. So when another organization nearby saw that we had popped up in this side of the park, they were like, hey, like there's certain people in the neighborhood that might attend this event. Like, you don't want that. And our team was like, no, like, con más ganas, like, now we're going to stay here and we're going to make sure that whoever does attend is going to have a great time. And I think that's really telling of Florecer's values and the ways in which we believe that everybody in the community should receive quality service and quality events regardless of how they may be perceived by other people. And what was the second part of your question?
How do they compare to your most recent ones?
Yeah, I would say now we definitely incorporate more cultural aspects of the community's background into the work, because we want to make sure that if people are attending, they are able to see themselves in the like the logistical organizing of our work, whether that comes down to the decorations we have or whether that comes down to the music we're playing. We want to make sure that it's always culturally reflective.
For sure. For you guys, like, do you guys remember the first event that you participated in, and do you guys have a favorite memory from that event?
Well, my first one, I don't remember, but the most memorable one was like the Dia de los Muertos one, as well as Daniela. I also liked helping out the kids, and like seeing their faces like made me like realize like, oh, I want to do this and I want to keep helping them. And also like seeing that it wasn't only kids or like only like moms. I've noticed that it was like fathers too, like the whole family, and it wasn't just like only one and stuff like that. And it was very diverse too, because then it wasn't only one ethnicity or like age or something. I feel like that helped me make like be more sure that I want to help others and want to keep helping in my community.
Personally, for me, I have not helped in an event yet. I've witnessed like a lot, like seeing a lot of organizations do things for people, and I took this time as opportunity to start working and involving myself in new things for my community.
Are you excited for the toy drive then?
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Cool, cool. What inspired you to finally do something in your community?
Well, just seeing like my community, like they struggle, like parents or like single parents, they just struggle simply to just have a roof over their head and like provide food for the table for the kids. And sometimes they don't have the opportunity to get their kids such nice things, and just giving the opportunity of being able to put a smile on the kid's face, it brings joy to me.
Mm-hmm. I'm so excited to see what else you get up to, and of course both of y'all. Like, but it's so exciting that this is your first event, and there's so much work to be done, and it's so awesome to finally get started. You know, so let's see. Have you guys ever been to like a summer like event, or like for example, like Florecer, they did like parties at like parks and stuff, and like, or like when you go to like your Dia de los Muertos event, like how does that make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel good, and it makes me feel like connected to my community and how we're like a whole and how we can make a change. And it makes me feel like happy that like some people may be struggling at home and they have a place where they can actually like enjoy outside and help others as well. Like we can all help each other, and it makes me feel like appreciated of my community and knowing that I can give back as well.
And this is going to be your first event, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be fun.
Many more to come.
Exactly. Cool. Diego, this past year, you led multiple student walkouts, art builds, and protests advocating for a ceasefire in Gaza and an end to the genocide against the Palestinian people. So how was it organizing huge actions like that?
Yeah, so I would say, like, overall, the role that I played was, like, helping young people meet each other and connect each other, and then on top of that, just like providing them with the knowledge on how to do these things. For example, back in December, there was a student from Solorio High School that reached out to me, and she was like, hey, like I turn on my phone and I see these terrible things happening to Palestinians, and then I feel so guilty that I get to just turn off my phone and live my life like I'm not complicit in what's happening on the other side of the world. What can I do? And I was like, well, this is what students have been doing this past year. Students have been walking out. Students have been organizing sit-ins. What do you think is feasible? And after her consulting with her classmates, they were like, you know what, we want to walk out. Like, what does this look like? So after meeting with students from other schools like Curie and like Hancock and Hubbard, students from Soloria organized I would say like a South Side walkout to demand that Senator Tammy Duckworth calls for a ceasefire. And unfortunately, she has not. But what really stuck with me was the fact that these young people decided that they felt in their heart that they had to do something, and they did it. And then flash forward to January, we also had more students that reached out and were like, hey, y'all, like, these things are still happening. And we continue going to the store and buying stuff that eventually, like through our tax dollars, ends up contributing to genocide. And we truly believe that we can do better as a country. So students decided to organize a citywide walkout. We had over 3,000 students walk out, and they decided that they were going to march to their local alderman's office to demand that city council pass the ceasefire resolution. And after walking out, students occupied the first floor of City Hall. And that same day, Mayor Brandon Johnson put out a statement, and he was like, yeah, like, I fully support the students that are demanding the ceasefire in Gaza. We should listen to student voices. The following day, I would say it was because of students, Mayor Brandon Johnson ended breaking the tie, and Chicago became the first major city in the U.S. to call for a ceasefire. And I think that's so powerful because 20% of Chicagoans are young people. So that, like Sarah had said earlier, young people do have power, especially when we come in numbers. And yeah, I'm just so extremely proud of young people in our city.
Yeah. Well, you already kind of touched on it. Well, first of all, that was awesome that you guys led that, all those walkouts, and that I do feel also like that's what motivated Brandon Johnson to really put his vote in the right place. So why is it important for young people to advocate for a free Palestine?
Well, at this point, we're at over 200,000 Palestinians murdered, and that's just like the numbers that we're being told. But also, like, when we talk about these families being displaced and them losing access to their land and the plants that they value, it's hard to try to convince someone to care for other people when we, especially like us in the Southwest side, we're very communal, and we understand that we're also interconnected. So yeah, overall, I hope people remember that we're interconnected, and it's going to take us to save us, and we shouldn't wait for anybody else to come and try to do that work for us.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So how do you guys feel about protests or walkouts?
Well, I feel like when we protest and we come together, we're like more stronger, because sometimes one voice isn't heard, but when we're like all together and united, like protests, like Dale has stated, they can make a change, and we can make like we can change things. And I feel like when we come together is when we're like the strongest.
Adding on to what Lenny said, like, I've seen that sadly the only way that people listen to the needs that they want changed is by just being loud and having tons of people. And it's sad that that's the only way that they have to listen, just by being put in an uncomfortable position, seeing lots of people advocate for the same thing. But my personal level, I think it's beautiful that people are able to connect with each other and just simply be on the same page and connect on the same things that they want changed.
Mm-hmm. And on to what Jalissa said, since we're young and there's like, we're stereotyped to not know stuff, and like we don't have the enough knowledge like adults have. So I feel like when we come together and we know what we're talking about, I feel like that can help us be heard and make the change we want to.
And I love to remind people that, especially young people that are experiencing like specific issues in their neighborhood, they have the solutions to the problems that they experience. So it's important to listen and then provide young people with the resources to be able to live happy lives, especially in the Southwest side of Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I understand too, like protests can sometimes be very scary. Like, sometimes it can be like very like unsafe, like as we saw from like, well, just like in general, anything can get crazy, right? But so in what other ways can you advocate for your community, or have you seen people advocate for their community?
In the personal level for me, I feel like just simply having the resources, like in school, having people to reach out to, having friends that, I guess, think of this, no, I don't know how to phrase it, but they just want the same change as you. And like for me, like being able to be friends with Sara, she gave me the opportunity to meet Diego, and now we're making this organization, helping this organization make a fundraiser that we all wanted to have to help people throughout holidays.
I've seen like my school, they do coat drives for people who don't have coats. Like for example, we're gonna do a toy drive. I've seen food drives too. I've participated in some, and yeah, I feel like coming together and spreading out the word. That's how we also advocate for each other.
For sure. As I asked Sara and Danny in the past half hour, we all know that there's a new presidency and there's a lot of stuff that we're concerned and worried about. So I want to ask y'all, like, how do you guys feel?
As a personal level, for me, it's scary coming from 2 immigrant parents and just hearing a bunch of things that might affect me and my education. It's scary, of course, but just knowing that there's people out there who feel the same, I know that they're going to want to make a change.
Adding on to what Jalissa said, like as well as she said too, coming from 2 immigrant parents is kind of scary because they're like the support that I have, and I want to keep helping them. But like she said too, like and my other friend said too, when we come together, I feel like that makes me feel like more secure in a way that we have each other and we can create a change we want if we come together.
I would say overall, it feels like if it's not one issue our community is experiencing, it's another issue. But at the end of the day, our communities always find a way to defend themselves. And I truly do feel that in the coming years, Chicago will be a city of Chicago will be a model for other cities as we learn how to defend themselves, to learn how to defend ourselves, and also just like activate new people. Because while Chicago has become a city of organizing, it's important to learn how to engage new young people and how to engage even everyday people that we don't really include in organizing, like moms at our local grocery stores and like laundromats. It's important to engage those people and have important conversations in order to ensure that we're all aware of what's happening.
So what current work is Florecer doing that might be affected by the upcoming presidency?
Overall, I just feel like any work that has to do with protecting like marginalized people in our country is being put on the line. And overall, it's just important that people remember that it's going to take us to save us.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely feel like we will like overcome this, and especially just speaking with you guys now, like I can tell that we have like some leaders coming up that I know will like lead the generation that's coming, and it's just really empowering to see. So what is something that you guys would like to say to the youth out there wanting to help out in their community, but not knowing where to start?
Honestly, it doesn't really take a lot to start. Simply just speaking up and having, like I said, mentioned earlier, having friends who think the same as you. Like, you guys can reach out to your counselors at school, simply just a teacher who might think the same as you, and just opening doors to new people and not being scared to speak about what you know is right.
Yeah, like she said, don't be scared to use your voice or like be judged, because I know a lot of people is scared. Like me, I was scared to be judged by other people, and then I learned to overcome it because they're not going to help me make my decisions, and they're not going to give me the future that we want. And I feel like going out your way and asking like other people, and don't be scared to ask other like teachers or like school people, like an example. And yeah, you can also reach out to your communities or parks or stuff, and for sure they will have more support for you.
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, no, you're good. What is something that you would like to say to the youth out there wanting to help out in your community but not knowing where to start? Like, how can youth begin to advocate for themselves?
How can youth begin to advocate for themselves? I think I always think of this analogy. It's going to sound corny, but I heard when I was 16, I heard someone say, like, if you think that one person can't change anything, try being in a tent with a mosquito. And it's like, yeah, like, while a lot of people undermine young people, it's important to remember that all social justice movements have been led by young people. And young people who step up are going to be the ones that are going to create change in their communities. So, yeah, I would just say, like, talk to your teachers, trust in your classmates, and remember that we have each other.
Mm-hmm. You were, little shout out, you were all featured on Southside Weekly's Best of the Southside 2024 as Best Reimagining of Community this year. What does reimagining community mean to you?
I would say reimagining community means dreaming of our communities outside of punitive systems and outside of systems that we know haven't really been working for us as much as they should be working. So, for example, even in the ways that we engage with young people in our communities, we consider our language, we consider the words that we're using with little kids because we don't want to ensure that we're replicating systems that haven't been working. And yeah, everywhere we go, we take jackets. For example, during the winter season, we tend to take jackets, sweaters. We want to make sure that if people are attending our events, they're able to leave with a warm jacket, or that they're able to be connected to other community organizations that have resources for them.
How about you guys? Like, what does reimagining community mean to you, or what do you guys want to see in your community?
Honestly, just seeing people speak up more. I feel like people are just, I guess, scared and in their shell of being judged. And honestly, just speaking up about things like this, like, there is someone out there in the same position as you that wants to speak up as well.
Well, I want to see, like, more, yeah, like she said, more people coming together, not being scared of what other people have to say, and also, like, safety. I want to see more safety in our community, and I feel like we can fix that when we come together and, yeah, make a change.
Yeah. If you guys could host, like, your dream, like, community event, like a block party or like a cookout or like a concert or like a little like a music event or something, like, what would it be and what would you call it and what would you want to feature?
Ooh,
That's a good
hard.
question.
That's kind of hard.
Like, what are you guys into?
Well, I would like to help my community, like, in a lot of ways, like, when it's cold, like a cold drive, or like right now, like, we're gonna do toys, or kind of food too, because a lot of people, like, they kind of lack in, like, support, I guess, for food, or some people don't have enough income to help, like, their families or stuff like that, or also, like, stuff for their homes and stuff that will help a lot.
I feel like for me, like, maybe like a fundraiser to help people with, like, medical support, because there's not one day where I pass down the street and there's someone in need of that help, and they're just there in the cold asking for money and trying to seek support from people that they don't even know. And it sucks because I always love to help people, and just seeing and being unable to not do it breaks my heart.
And on to what Jalissa said, I've also seen that, like, not a lot of immigrants have these resources to, like, get, like, dental help or medical help. And we would like to, like, help them and help all the people in need that are not covered by the government because of their income or, like, their immigrant and all of that.
Mm-hmm. And to wrap it up, guys, what's next? Like, what are y'all manifesting for the upcoming year?
Me personally, I don't speak about, my future things, because there is a lot of people out there who just don't want to see you achieve those and be successful in life. But there's just a lot of things that I want to do and just not keep them as ideas, but actually pursue them throughout the year. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I want to grow as an individual and be, like, more out, like, help more people too, and also myself. And I want to help out more people, help myself, and help them for the future too, prepare other people for the future.
Mm-hmm. What would you say is next for Florecer?
I feel like we'd really be in a better place as a city if we, as, like, different institutions, learned how to create strong systems of like, creating spaces for young people. if all the young people in Chicago remained connected and had places to not only experience joy, but also actual safety, I feel like we'd be in a much better place. So if Florecer is able to create spaces and join other organizations or institutions in creating spaces for young people to meet each other and just experience genuine joy, I feel like we would be in a much better place.
Thank you. Is there any final thoughts? Do you guys want to leave anybody who might be listening with?
To be honest, no.
No.
I feel like there's nothing else I have to add.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the toy drive, we're going to organize the toy drive.
Yeah.
And yeah, we would like to welcome other people who want to participate with us and help the people in need. And brighten up the kids' holidays, with toys that are new. Like Julissa said, no stuffed animals for sanitary purposes. And we want to make the best and the better quality for our community.
And when and where can we drop off the toys?
Well, we can drop them off at Fonseca Nutrition, which is 2637 West 51st Street. And it'll be December 21st.
Awesome.
And for more details, they can check Florecer_chai, whatever.
Thank you guys so much. That wraps up our episode. Thank you for listening to today's episode of the Mutual Aid Report. Thank you to our guests, Diego Garcia from Florecer, and Yulissa, Sarai, Daniela, and Elena from Kelly College Prep. For more information on Florecer and their many initiatives, you can visit them on social media at Florecer_chai. That's Florecer, FLORECER_chai, CHI. Thank y'all for listening, and thank y'all so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Y'all did great.